Hi there. So today I'm going to show you a little demo of these little miniature paintings I do. These are gouache, which is similar to watercolor, only it's a lot more opaque and you can do lots of layers without the other layers showing through. That's the difference I've noticed between gouache and watercolor. And the colors are super vibrant with these. This is Winsor & Newton gouache paints that I have, and I put them in a little Altoids tin. My son 3D printed this little insert for me, and it holds 12 colors, so it's pretty awesome. Love it, and it's really compact. So these are little magnet frames that I picked up, and I've cut watercolor paper to fit these. So I'm going to go ahead and I did these two earlier just to get an idea of what I was planning on doing with these, and kind of followed the Bob Ross style of painting here. Although he uses oil paints, these are gouache, so it's techniques a little bit different obviously than oil, but still the same general idea that he uses to do these. So I'm going to start by taking this paper out. I did one without taking the paper out first, and you can see these little lines kind of where the paper moved around. So the second one I went ahead and took the paper out so that it would fill up the whole frame. So I'm going to go ahead and take the paper out of this one. I have to use an X-Acto knife to get it out. Anyway, so this is my little painting I'm going to start. And I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I'm going to follow similar guidelines what I used here. And we're going to go from there. We'll see what happens. So I start by doing a little bit of water on my paper because you want the colors to kind of flow nicely as you're painting. So I'm going to do try to do more of a summery or springtime scene. These are kind of wintry looking, but I'm going to see if I can do something similar in different colors here. So I'm starting out, I'm going to do the little sun, and his paper's a little bit wet, but you don't need to have it super wet. And then I don't want this to bleed into the water right now because I'm going to be adding some other colors, so I'm just going to try some things here. So I'm going to make kind of a pink like I did in these others here with the red. This is my red gouache and my white. I'm going to get a little bit of a pink tone going here. So I just kind of circle around this. And there's, you don't have to get all perfect with it. And what I saw Bob Ross do, which was pretty cool, is he kind of just puts the same color down in the foreground because you're going to be using this as your little reflection later on. So you can go ahead and put some of that color. Matter of fact, I'm going to do my little sun. Should have done that first, but really doesn't, watercolor's so forgiving. I think. I mean, some people are really scared of watercolor, but I love it, and I love how it just kind of makes its own, it kind of runs with itself. I mean, I have yet to throw something away that I've painted, even though I'm not going to say the stuff's great, but I think you can always seem to salvage it. So I'm going to do another shade, getting into some other colors kind of on the sky there that I want. So, and I looked at one of his videos today, and this was kind of following his little winter scene he had. Of course, he's doing oil, so it's, I'm still following the same principles, but it's just a lot different in this medium than the oils are. I'm going to get some more pink down here because I kind of feel like I took too much of that off. So now I'm going to do a little bit darker up in the corners, get more contrast going on. So So this will be kind of a little bit darker, but I'm just gonna do it down here too, same color, so that I have this almost reflection already going on. Oh, it's kind of looking dark, but I kind of like it. Add a little more blue over here. So, and you can dab with your paper towels to kind of give you some more cloud kind of effect if you want, to take off some of that harsh color. There you go. So, and with the water, you can always come, you can always come in here and blend it. All right, so this is kind of my outline of, or my first wash of my scene I'm going to do. Okay, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the mountains here, and I'm just using a little flat brush, so I can get that kind of sharper mountain edge that I want. So I'm going to do a little bit of black, a little bit of blue. I'm going to kind of use this color I already have here, get some more, and then add some brown to get it more looking like mountains color that I want. That looks pretty good. So normally if I wasn't doing a video, I'd let this dry a little bit more before, so because I can see there's a little bit of water right in here, so when I go ahead and put this down, it might bleed a little, so I probably really should dry this a little more. So I'm going to follow this one here and see what happens here. So I'm just kind of getting an edge here with the brush to make it look like a mountain, a little mountain range. And you don't have to make it perfect. You can make your mountains taller or more jaggedy if you want, or more rounded. So, and then I'm going to rinse my brush because I want to bring some of this color, get some water down here so that it kind of blends in with what Bob Ross does is he takes his brush and he kind of pulls it down, and then he takes his other brush to make it look kind of misty right there at the bottom. So I think I like that look, so I'm gonna let that dry that way. I like that. So let's see, down in this corner. So I kind of, when I look at a composition, I mean, I'm seeing you got your sun, you got your mountains over here, you got your other focal point here, so it's kind of nice to have that balance there. This one I did the trees and the mountains on one side, but my sun was so big that it kind of still balanced it out. So I like the idea of that composition here. So I'm going to go ahead and do, well, I'm going to do this first, because the way I watched Bob Ross, he kind of works from the top down. So I'm going to do my little bushes over on this side first. But I want this to be dry, so I'm just going to dry this up right here. And now I'm going to grab, this is my little deerfoot brush, and I really like this for doing kind of little pouncing. Obviously all my brushes are a lot smaller than what Bob Ross uses, but this kind of gives you that way to almost like a stipple, like a, what am I trying to think of, the kind of brush you use for that, stenciling, kind of like that, only it has a little angle to it. So okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of blue because I want some contrast, and I kind of want this to be more springy. So I'm going to get this in the greens, I think. Greens and browns. So I'm going to just start adding some little bushes and stuff and see what happens here. So these could be, obviously these could be trees because it's so far away. So it looks kind of like deciduous trees from a distance. Since I've got this color on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring that down here too. So this is kind of darker than I wanted, but I'll be able to lighten up some. I'm going to add some more yellows and stuff. So one thing I see that I kind of missed, and now I'm over this already, so it's already a little too late. Well, one step was I had added this purple in here, and then I brought some of it down to give you that reflection look. So I kind of am past that point, but I'm going to do something, another little trick that I saw, where I can bring this down. Hopefully, we'll see if it works. Yeah, it's a little bit dry, so it's what I was thinking is I could bring some of this down as my reflection. Let's see. Not exactly what I was wanting, but I think in the end it might look okay once I get this. You know how Bob Ross's paintings, they start out and you're going, where is this gonna go? And then when he's all done, it's like, it looks amazing. Well, I don't know if mine's gonna look amazing, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so I think that I'm gonna use another shade that is a little bit lighter. Now I'm going to use my bigger round brush. So I'm going to take my green. I already got a little bit of green going on there. And I'm going to add some yellow. Oops. I'm going to add some yellow to this. So kind of like in these, I added white to the branches to give it that highlight. Well, now I want to get some highlight with the yellow. A little bit more yellow. So then I can add that to the tops of my little bushes. Yeah. It just gives it a little bit more depth. Because I want this to look more like a spring scene instead of the winter thing. I'm over winter. Let's see. Let me put some white in there. I think it's getting a little too white or too watered down. So there, now you can see, it almost looks like it could be little flowers or something, like some spring rhodies or something growing here. Of course, this piece here is supposed to just be far away, so I need to get more darker in there. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my ground in there. I want to get some, like the edge of the little island thing that comes out here. I love how Bob Ross puts his in there with his knife. Can't really use a knife with this, so Yeah, I like this. The reason I do these small paintings is because they're just, I'm all about instant gratification, first of all. And these are just so easy to just whip out, and you can get something done kind of quickly, and I really like that idea. All right, I think I want to do a little tree now, some trees over here. I don't know if those colors are working, but I'm just trying, and I'm just messing around and doing what comes to mind. So let's do, I want to get a dark, really dark color for these trees here. So, you know, I think I'm using the wrong brush. So he uses a fan brush for his trees. Well, let's see, he does the line part first. I think he does that with the fan brush. And then he just does this cool little trick that I just love. He makes it look so easy. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. It's not working for the fine point. So you want to get that fine point up there. Okay. Try this one. Well, not exactly what I really was looking for. I don't think I got my points fine enough here, so I'm going to go in with my little tiny detail brush here, and I'm going to add a little more detail that I can't seem to get with that brush. Making it look a little more like a tree. Oh God, really? Okay. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. There we go. Yeah. Get in here and fix this one. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put some little branches over here to make it look more like it was actually a little forested area. That's coming out to the water here. And just add a little bit of texture out here. I love how he adds his little cabins and stuff. I'm not going to do that on this one, but I will try that sometime. So I'm just adding like the idea of maybe what a little, like a swamp or something, kind of in here. And that's just going over with a lighter color that gives you that idea that that's what's going on over here. All right, now I need to add some highlights, some more highlights in these trees. I'm going to get my small fan. And I'm going to use my Naples yellow. I don't want to use a pure white, but I'm going to mix it a little with a little bit of that green and a little bit of white. And let's see, just to get some little bit of highlights happening over here. Also on this shoreline over here. I want to lighten some up here. Make it look like you can go walking right up to the edge of this. And yeah, just adding some little highlights up there. Okay, so let's see, what else do I want to do to this? I feel like I need to add something to the mountains because even if it was spring, there's still going to be snow on those mountains. So I'm going to add some, just a little bit of highlight up there to look like there's still some snow left there. Okay, so we need a little bit of white, and I've used up my space on my Altoids tin, so I'm just gonna make a little spot here in the white. I can rinse all this off. That's the beauty of this paint. I can rinse it all off afterwards. Okay, so I'm just gonna follow the edge right there. The edge that is kind of reflecting that where the sun would hit. And I'm just barely touching this, but it just gives that nice little idea that there's something else going on there in the mountains here with the snow. And yeah, I like that. All right, I think that's done. I think that's all I'm gonna do. Well, this looks a little bit weird up there, but it kind of looks like clouds too, so anyway, there it is. That's my little teeny tiny Bob Ross style gouache painting. Thanks for watching. This is my first video on how to paint what I do. Thank you. Have a great day.